What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another one of my videos. If you are new here, I'm Ramy B. And I'm sure by now that you can kind of tell that I'm doing a series of like educational PhD related videos. My last one was about the APA convention since it was my first time attending and just the things that I liked and didn't like about it. This video is going to be about the 3 most important things to consider when applying for a PhD program. I'm currently a 3rd year student in a counseling psychology PhD program, so I have some insight and experience about just the application process and deciding when to apply, if you should apply, and just how to get through it since I am pretty much over halfway through my program. So with that being said, I'm in a PhD program, which is a lot different than PsyDs, and if you're going towards a professional degree like a law degree, so the experiences might be a little bit different. And just within the PhD realm, all the different majors and programs that you can apply to, your experiences may be a little bit different. So I'm going to try to make this video as general as possible so it can be applied just to PhDs in general. So before we get started, if you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below, like and comment. If you want to leave any tips and suggestions to people who are looking to apply, or just any kind of things that you feel that I could benefit from as well, please leave it down below. So let's get started. The first and most important thing to consider when applying for a PhD program is make sure that you really want to go that route. The reason I say that is you can't really coast through a PhD program. Undergrad, you can kind of coast through. Anybody can really get into an undergraduate program. You don't have to really focus. You can maintain a social life, work, and have fun and still get through it pretty easily. And then also a master's program is very similar in that way. I went through that route, so I have my bachelor's, I have a master's, and now I'm working on my PhD. And through my master's, I was able to hold a full-time job and kind of have a social life outside. Even though the time commitment was a little bit more, you're still kind of able to coast through. But with a PhD program, it's a lot different. Your PhD program essentially becomes your life. Not just with your schoolwork, you have your typical readings, papers, presentations, you're doing practicums, so you're working outside, you're doing assistantships on campus, you're working, and then, a PhD program, you have to do a dissertation. Some have thesis kinds of projects, so doing that research outside of your normal responsibilities and obligations. And then if you want to go into academia like I do, you need to start publishing, so doing more research to publish and put on your CV so you can appeal to different institutions when you do apply for teaching jobs. So overall, a PhD program is just pretty much going to be your way of life, so you want to make sure it's what you really want to do. In the example of counseling psychology, if you just want to be a counselor and practice, a PhD may not be that appealing to you because it doesn't really give you too much more than what you already have. You do get a little bit more training and you do get the research aspect of it, but you can be a very successful counselor and therapist without going the PhD route, which a lot of people do, and they have successful careers doing so. So make sure that before you apply for a PhD program, this is really what you want to do. Now this leads into the second most important thing. Make sure that you have the time and kind of the finances to do so. By time, I mean the PhD programs, if you're coming in with a bachelor's, are 5 to 6 years, sometimes longer. With a master's program, it's 4 to 5. My program specifically is 4 years of coursework and 1 year of internship. So right there's a 5-year block of my life that I'm dedicating just to a PhD program. So going into a PhD program, you need to keep in mind that you're going to spend literally the bigger part of the next decade in school, and it's going to take up your whole entire life. You're going to be in class, practicum, working on campus at assistantships. You're going to be spending a lot of your free time doing work, doing research. You don't really have so much of a social life, so that's something to keep in mind. And what I mean when I say financially is when you're in a PhD program, it's very hard to hold a job, very hard to hold a part-time job, let alone a full-time job. So you're really relying on campus funds, so through assistantships, scholarships. But if you go the assistantship route, like I mentioned, you're going to be working about 20 hours a week on top of your practicum and coursework, and you're going to be getting paid not a lot of money, to be honest. It's just a stipend, but the benefit is they do cover some credits typically, so you don't have to worry about the tuition as much. So just keeping in mind that you need to have a lot of time and some kind of financial system, whether it's family helping you out if you're married, having your spouse helping you out, or just saving money. A lot of people can do it without any of that. You just got to budget a lot better. You may have to sacrifice maybe groceries, not have time to do a lot of leisure things that require some money. It's definitely doable, but it's just something to keep in mind because again, you're spending 5+ years in school, and this is going to be your lifestyle moving forward. And the third thing that I would say is absolutely very important is making sure you have a strong support system around you. Not necessarily a support system that you'll have to go to anytime you're stressed, which is good to have, but just having people that will motivate you and continue pushing you forward. For me, that is my family. My mother, my brother, and my father, they do a good job of keeping me on track and reminding me like this is my goal. In a PhD program, you do get burnt out a lot and you do become become overwhelmed and stressed very regularly. So it's good to have people on your side letting you know, like, hey, you know, you're over halfway done. You can get through it. Make sure you keep fighting through. Time flew by these last couple of years. It's only going to fly by on you. Before you know it, you'll be done. So make sure you have people around you that are motivating you, supporting you, and there for you when you need to talk about your stress and talk about kind of the things that you're going through. The benefit of a PhD program, though, is you're typically in a cohort of people. So you guys are sharing a similar experience. You guys are kind of going through the same path. So those are your primary like support system, and they understand where you're coming from because they're going through the same exact thing. And it's good to have a good cohort because you are typically, for most people, when you're going to a PhD program, you're moving out of state to a whole new area. You may not know anybody, so they kind of become your little clique that you hang out with, that you see all the time in all your classes, and they become like your main support system. So just make sure you have people around you who are very supportive and very motivating and are able to kind of help you out when you're stressed and overwhelmed, give you advice, and just make sure that you're staying on the right path and staying on track, because it is very easy to get burnt out and not be successful in a PhD program. It definitely does take a lot of mental strength to get through it because there are so many commitments. You'll have some times where a couple of weeks are kind of light, and then you'll get hit with so many assignments back to back, and you'll feel like you have no time to get it done. So you do end up sacrificing sleep. Maybe you're not eating as well. So, you know, health wise, you definitely need people around you that are going to keep you on track and keep you motivated, because it's so easy to lose track and lose focus of your end goal. So those were three very simple and very important things to keep in mind when applying for a PhD program. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons that people do apply and a lot of things to consider. For example, if you have a family, if you're married with children, moving your whole entire family with you, sacrificing some of those resources financially because you can't have a job to support them. Just a lot of things to keep in mind when you are considering applying for a PhD program. Now, obviously, I can't cover all of those, so I covered the three that I felt would be the most important and pretty much the first steps when considering a PhD program. So hopefully this video is very beneficial for you and put some things into perspective for you before applying, because like I mentioned, you don't want to apply and get into a PhD program when you're not ready and not really understanding of the sacrifices you have to make to get through it. Once again, if you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I'm going to be posting many more PhD academic related videos. So if you're subscribed, you'll be able to stay on track as I upload more and more. So once again, thank you very much. Like and comment. Let me know if you have any suggestions or tips or things people need to keep in mind. And once again, I hope this video is very beneficial and helpful and was able to kind of help you decide or get you on the right track to decide if this is really what you want to do. Thank you very much, and I'm out.